Support for Cinema Classics comes from Film Columbus, enriching our community to make Columbus a destination for film education, exhibition, and production. Learn more at filmcolumbus.com. Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to shows every Thursday at 8:01 p.m. and full shows online at WCBE.org. I'm John DeSando.
I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
This is It's Movie Time.
No, it isn't. This is Blue Book. This is Cinema Classics. Get the show right.
It really is. And you know...
Well, it must be, I mean, so hard having all these shows that you confuse the title of them.
I'm just in a funk because one of the great directors has died.
You know what? I don't believe that you are in a funk.
I know.
I don't think you really cared about Bertolucci at all.
Listen...
You know what? I got to tell you the truth. I didn't really care that much.
Well, you know, for a great director, he had only about 25 entries in his life.
And not all of them great, by the way.
But, you know, he started, by 20, he was an acclaimed poet in Italy.
Wow. I did not know
that.
So
there's a very talented man who may have entered it late in life, the film. But, and in 1987, I think it was, he won Best Director for The Last Emperor.
Okay. It won everything.
Yeah, it did.
Would you believe I've never seen that movie?
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to come right out and say it. I have seen very few Bertolucci movies. Bernardo Bertolucci we're talking about.
Yeah.
The great Italian director who just died. Yeah. I've seen, I saw The Conformist once.
Okay.
One time. I think at the time I saw it, it was over my head. You know, fascism in Italy.
Yes.
I was, a young college student. I think I missed the point of it.
Besides 72's Last Tango, which we're going to talk about in a minute, the other one that I'm aware of is 1900.
Yes, with De Niro and Gerard Depardieu.
Beautifully photographed.
Yes. A lot of his movies were beautiful. All of them were beautifully photographed.
Right, yeah.
Some of them were just a bit, I don't know, what is the word? Like 1900, bloated.
Yeah, a bit pretentious.
A bit pretentious.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
Now, I will say this, though. I am intimately familiar with and love Last Tango in Paris.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great movie. Brando is really amazing in it.
Yeah, I think that as you mentioned that most of our audience would agree that that's the one they know, The Last Tango in Paris.
Yeah.
And what's the big deal about this? I know Marlon Brando's in it. I realize, is it Romy Schneider?
No.
Who was
the
girl.
Female? It's Maria Schneider.
Maria Schneider. And Maria Schneider playing opposite him. A very contained, intense drama. Tell me what.
Yeah. So what's great about it is Brando is this middle-aged guy whose wife, who was having an affair, has just died.
So he was just visiting her coffin, I think, that day.
Yeah, and he has some great scenes talking to the coffin.
Yes.
Those are amazing scenes.
Oh.
Probably the best scenes in the movie. So he's grieving. He's in pain. He feels betrayed both by her affair and her death, and he's just in this exquisite agony.
Oh, yeah.
And he meets this girl, Maria Schneider.
20 years old.
Yeah. And she is in this kind of unfulfilling relationship with this young filmmaker.
Right.
He's a narcissist, and he's super pretentious, and
he's following her around.
Yeah, so they connect, right? And they have this agreement that they're going to meet in this empty room. I don't know if it's in an abandoned building.
I think because they're looking for apartments. My guess.
Maybe that's right. They meet in this empty apartment.
Within a very short time, they're making love.
So then they agree that they're going to have this sexual relationship and explore each other without ever telling each other their names. So the idea is that they're not going to get to know each other, so that one presumes that so no pain can seep into the relationship.
Well, that was Paul's idea, or Brando's idea.
Yeah.
That's impossible, and it doesn't.
Right, and he knows it, and that's the beauty part of that. Now, the movie obviously is being talked about in a different light these days, currently in light of the Me Too movement, because of the scene in which, and I do want to talk about this, because when I hear people talking about it, they're not really describing the scene for people. And I think people might be walking away with a different idea of what this scene is about. They're calling it a rape scene, and it is, in some ways. But I think it's I think when you say that, people might have a different expectation of what happens. So there's the famous butter scene where Brando. Watch this high wire act, by the way.
I want to see you dance.
Here we go. Where Brando assaults her with a stick of butter.
Yeah.
And now, what happens, the camera is in front of them. It's like on the, if I recall it properly, it's on the ground in front of them. So you don't really see anything. It's all suggested. But it is, despite that, incredibly graphic. The idea was that they sprung this on Maria Schneider to get the shock.
And she was surprised.
That genuine shock. And she was genuinely surprised and felt assaulted. And of course she was. So what you're seeing is, on screen, someone who's being assaulted in a way.
Because
there was not, as far as I know, they didn't really have sex. Right?
Yeah, and
right?
and let's say that...
Do I have that right?
No, I believe you're right, but regardless...
It's just implied.
There are many who take it as she was willing, just surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And this may be a new lens through which people are watching the film.
Yes.
Because he's so aggressive. And the more interesting question is, why is he so aggressive? Why? And I think you kind of got near it. The death of the suicide of his wife.
Oh, she committed suicide. That's right. I forgot about that.
Well, but it puts him in a vulnerable position because he then knows that he really did not know her at all.
Right.
So it's an existential problem for him. Who is he if he didn't know her? And his assertion with the character, with the is it Romy?
No, Maria.
Maria. I get that.
Why? That's her real name.
Yeah, Maria Schneider. Do you remember her name in the film?
No.
Okay.
Paul is his name.
Right.
I don't know her name.
So with the Maria Schneider character, is a chance for him to assert himself, and as he asserts it sexually, and her taking and accepting him seems to me to be a compensation for the rather effete fiancé.
Thematically and dramatically, this makes total sense, right? Here's a guy who he looks at the world as though it's just crap and garbage, and she is this, full of life. She's full of life. She has her life ahead of her. She's beautiful and naive, and in some ways, this is this guy who's just defiling not only just her, but he's defiling life.
Yes, and I like that. And it's so true. It's not just that she's a female. It's not just sex.
Right.
It is an act of defiance on his part.
Yeah, defiance, and it's an assault on the world.
Yeah.
And she is bears the brunt of it, and it is a scene that is hard to watch. Yeah. It is hard to watch. It's just interesting the conversations happening around it right now. I think people should see the film for sure.
Well, back in '72, it was pronounced obscene and banned forever by the Italian courts. Oh,
wow!
God.
Isn't that amazing? In Italy, of all places, they banned it.
It's also interesting that she is fully nude,
and
I don't think he is at all.
You don't see.
You don't see him. You see her.
I think you might see his butt.
Could
at some point.
But there's a stark difference between how she is presented.
True? That's true of most mainstream cinema, right?
Right. And this was so progressive.
You very rarely see full frontal male nudity.
Yeah. And when we do, it's not pretty.
No, it's never pretty.
But anyway, this is what so interests me as well, is how contained this little apartment is.
By the way, that would be a great topic for a show. Full frontal male nudity.
Oh God, I couldn't endure it.
Okay.
it explodes in the end, does it not? As I remember, there is some dance sequence, and I've forgotten everything that
I think
happened.
she kills him.
Yeah, what that's a good
Right,
question.
it's the yeah. That's great that we both have seen this movie several times,
Yes.
and the ending does start to get really weird. There's this franticness to it. I think she kills him,
Okay.
and then he dies in the apartment or something.
Well, that's typical of me. Endings are not important to me. I already got it by the time I get to the ending, so
Yeah.
I rarely remember an ending correctly.
Right, that's why great endings stand out.
Exactly, and that sequence is almost impressionistic. The one of the dancing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really-
yeah.
I think
It's
as you're
weird.
seeing, yeah, it's very strange, almost dreamlike.
The movie is, for those who haven't seen it, the movie does have Brando and Maria Schneider together they're your entry points into this weird world. The way they talk, the way they connect is very tactile and earthy. Some of the movie, the tone, the music, the long shots, the weird compositions. Sometimes the actors are blocked in a strange way. That the French filmmaker character, her boyfriend,
Yes.
actually, whenever he's on screen, it's like a breath of fresh air, even though he's like an idiot.
Well, it's Jean-Pierre Léaud, I think, who was one of the great actors of the New Wave.
Oh yeah,
So,
right.
so it's a great choice.
But when he's on screen, it's like, oh man, like there's a bit of normalcy.
I know, right? Yes.
You know?
Yes. Well, Bernardo Bertolucci. Bernardo Bertolucci says about Marlon Brando, because I think Brando is the center of this film regardless of Schneider or Bertolucci. And he says this about Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
He said he was an angel as a man and a monster as an actor.
Wow.
Whatever
Yeah.
a monster. But Bertolucci about 10 years ago said that really the good stuff was coming from TV. And the shows that he loved, Mad Men and Breaking Bad.
Wow. Interesting.
Not surprising though.
Yeah.
I mean, dark, sometimes light.
See, that totally surprises me. That just sounds like an old Italian guy who's just given up on
Yeah. Well,
Bertolucci. You think he's going to say some great stuff and he likes Breaking
you
Bad?
think Bernardo Bertolucci is going to watch TV?
Or that? Yeah, right.
All right.
All right.